Alright, so this is my She-Hulk episode 7 review. Alright, so, it starts off with a overhead shot of a bathroom. And then we finally see Jen emerge in a towel, getting ready for her date with Josh. Or at least that's the way it was played. But, so they show a few dates, and then she finally sleeps with him. And immediately he ghosts her. And she's just obsessed with this phone, hoping that Josh will respond to her. So, the last text she sent was, that was fun, I can't stop smiling, which, yeah, that seemed cringe to me, but okay. I don't do the dating thing, so what do I know? And he, never responds. So she's looking at her phone, days go by. And finally she gets a call from Emil Blonsky's parole officer. His ankle monitor is doing weird things. He doesn't know if he's turned into Abomination or what's the story. So even Nikki told Jen, cool it with looking at the phone. And I couldn't understand why she's acting so weird. Yeah, you slept with him, okay. But you slept with Todd and you forgot about him just like that. But we find out later why the big deal is. So, she goes with the parole officer to visit his retreat, Neil's retreat, because he's deathly afraid that if he's turning into Abomination, that must mean he's a bad guy. And so he's going to attack the parole officer. Because that checks out. He might still hate Bruce with a fiery passion. But that doesn't mean he's going to go on a rampage and destroy everything and everyone. So, but it seems like even they are cool, so maybe he really has turned over a new leaf. So they go to this retreat. He works at opening the gate, and she just goes through. Jen just drives on through because she's desperately trying to act like Josh is not bothering her. When in reality, yeah, he is bothering her. So, he insists that she turns into the Hulk right then and there because in case Emil Blonsky turns into Abomination. Because she couldn't, do something right then. She has to come prepared. I mean, she can turn it on and off whenever she wants. Anyway. So she, is obviously way too tall for the confines. And he looks at Blonsky's ankle monitor, tweaks it so it doesn't go on the fritz again. Now, granted, do I think he's been turning into Abomination? Oh, hell yeah. He obviously is, because that story he gave as to why this happened to begin with, what his explanation could possibly be, is obviously ludicrous. He's totally turning into the Abomination. Now, is he doing it to be a bad guy? Probably not. he wouldn't still be there if that were the case. Because if he could turn into the Abomination, do you think an ankle monitor would stop him? No. So, he leaves. His parole officer just takes off like a shot. And Emil brings that up to Jen. And she's like, yeah, he's afraid you're going to turn into the Abomination. Which, just rolls off his back. He doesn't seem to care about that. And so she's about to leave when the Matador and Manbull are fighting. And they even point out later on that this is so cliche. Only he's trying to convince everybody he's not a matador, and this isn't cliche. But, so they're fighting and manage to destroy Jen's car, which pisses her off. She turns into the Hulk and throws Manbull. And Manbull is extremely apologetic. And Blonsky explains who they are, that they're part of his group, his council group. So he explains to Jen what's going on. And she's desperately trying to get cell service because she claims that it's for work, that she's doing, she needs to get work done and she needs to leave because, And it's like, yeah, is it really that or is it Josh? So she's desperately trying to find cell service. And in the meantime, she walks into their therapy session. Now, maybe the way the trailers were cut at the beginning of the season, but I thought Titania was actually part of this group. Anyway, but, so she's kind of listening to them while she's on her phone because she's just there for cell service. But she's paying attention. And I guess the lawyer part of her wants to see if Blonsky is really doing what he says he is or something. Or she's just intrigued by this ragtag group. Then the leader of the wrecking crew walks in late. And she does the best fourth wall break so far this season. She wants a previously on so people will remember that he's the leader of the wrecking crew. So she's less than thrilled that he's there. She momentarily freaks out and then turns into She-Hulk and threatens him and throws him into a wall. And Blonsky calms her down and he's like, yeah, I realize that was a dick move and I apologize. So Jen is slowly coming down and everybody's sharing their stories. And then they ask Jen to share her story. What is preoccupying her because she's constantly on her stupid phone. And so she finally breaks down to these guys about Josh. And so she first talks about how the reason she liked Josh was he didn't ask her about She-Hulk. He wasn't interested in She-Hulk. In her mind, he was not interested. He never brought it up. But she really liked Josh. It wasn't like the other guy that she slept with, who I thought was Todd. But Todd is obviously a different guy, so I don't know what that other guy's name was. But because he was only interested in She-Hulk. So it's really hurt her that he seemed to be interested in Jen. And I was actually starting to cry during this monologue because I do get it. You want people to like you for you, not this other person. And just this idea that you see the popular kid in school and you wish you were more like that, and people um liked you like they'd like the popular girl. And you can see that she's horribly upset, and that they like She-Hulk. Guys like She-Hulk. Everybody seems to prefer She-Hulk to Jen, and it's so frustrating that she wants people to like Jen. So the guys get her to turn back into Jen because they're like, do you believe that we would like Jen? And she said, I do. So she turns back, and everybody, all the guys were so supportive of her. And especially I guess, former leader of the Wrecking Crew, because I don't know if the others have had his change of heart. Ugh. And so all the guys immediately want to kill Josh. One wants to cannibalize him. One wants to just suck his blood because he thinks he's a vampire. One just wants to kill him. And the leader of the Wrecking Crew is like, guys, Jen is in pain, and all you're offering her is violence. And I'm just sitting here thinking, why can't it be both? First console her, then kill Josh. Because I was right about Josh. And to this point, I thought, well, maybe he was just your average run-of-the-mill jerk, and that he had nothing to do with the intelligentsia, but then we find out later, no, he did. So, the guys made her feel part of the group. She goes into what looked like I'm trying to think what the because obviously it's not smoke. She goes into this what looks like a sauna, since I can't think of the indigenous term for it at the moment. But she gives a thumbs up, like, what? That was just weird. But anyway, so she calmed down. She was so thankful for everybody, and they even got her to delete his number from her phone. And they even mentioned that she was worried about him, and so she texted him again to make sure that he's okay. And they're all going like, no, don't do that. He totally ghosted you. You're sounding desperate. But at the same time, in this world where there are superheroes and supervillains and strange shit happens, I really can't completely blame Jen for being worried that something happened to him. But it turned out that he was just a jerk. So I really think that by the end of the season, which I think there's 2 episodes left, I really hope that Wong is going to be a part of this, and this group of guys, because they all seem to be really awesome guys. I mean, obviously they have their own issues. Like one thinking he's a bull, the other one thinking he's a vampire. So, yeah, they have issues, but, they seem like really sweet guys and very supportive and caring. So yeah. And so she leaves, and she leaves in a tow truck. So obviously they finally remember. I don't know what the time span of her going to the, doing her therapy session and doing that other stuff, like going into the sauna, how long that took, because it wasn't until the end of the episode that a tow truck appeared. So I don't know how long it took. But anyway, so it's like, oh, so you actually use the phone as a phone. Nice. But so she's leaving, and she seems to be in a happy place. And then we see 3 days later when she slept with Josh, which, as an aside, when Manbull called it making love and she's like, ew, no. I just love that. I just love that so much. This idea that, because generally the stereotype is that women call sex making love and men are just like, it's sex. It's not a big deal. So, but so she's like, no, ew. So, we see that again, and Josh is copying files, it looked like. So he was breaking into her phone, and then he sent a message to Hulk King saying that he got her blood. Now, my question is how could he do that without her noticing? Because the way things work with Bruce is when something happens, like when Natasha pushed him into a crater because she wanted to bring out the Hulk, he became the Hulk immediately. Jen does not notice that her blood is being taken. How did he manage this? What happened? Did he accidentally cut her or something? I mean, okay. So yeah, turns out I was right. He was working for the intelligentsia. Now, I wonder if we're going to see him again. So I wonder, like I said, if I really hope that the guys are involved, especially Blonsky, which would be funny since he seems to hate her cousin with a fiery passion, or at least he used to. And now he's like buddy with Jen, so. But, yeah, so we still haven't seen Charlie Cox yet as Daredevil, because we know he's coming. So I don't know if we're going to see him next episode or not till the finale, but it would seem like it would be too much to save for the finale. Introduce him in the next episode, and in the finale it would be She-Hulk versus the Intelligentsia, and whomever they got to become their version of She-Hulk. Whether they're going to go with Red She-Hulk or just Red Hulk. So yeah, I'm really curious how this is going to end. But like I said, I really hope that the guys play some sort of role. And may I just say that it kind of sucks that we haven't seen Pug in the longest time. I liked him. I liked him a lot. He seemed sweet. Let's see. I think that's all I have for this episode. Oh yes, one more thing about the leader of the wrecking crew. I honestly thought at this point that maybe Josh is just your typical dirtbag, and maybe he is going to take advantage of this closeness he has with Jen, and he'd be the one to steal her blood. But no, no, it was Josh, which I like that. I like that that they turned the tables, that the guy that she trusted was the one who turned on her, and the guy that she didn't trust at first, she learned to trust him because he was actually being sweet, genuinely sweet, as opposed, he apologized for what he did, and which, yeah, you apologize, but she also beat the shit out of you. But yeah. So, yeah, now I think I've covered it all. So I will see you guys next time.